Nottinghamshire, home to over 800,000 people. The beauty of its rural landscape, forest and riverside, contrasting with the bustling activity of a prospering city. However, like other major cities, there's an issue just below the surface that is causing concern among residents. A spectre that threatens family life, causes worry and concern, and is at the top of the political agenda. This is the story of how violent knife crime in Nottinghamshire is destroying lives and how ordinary people are doing extraordinary things in the hope of protecting their families and the communities where they live.
I just knew that something wasn't right. I was at a club and we went out, got into the car and switched my phone on, and I was getting inundated with messages saying, "Jane, you've got to get to the hospital, it's Luke," and you know, things like that. But then my battery died on my phone, so we rushed back to Notts, me thinking it's Luke, he's always doing something, he'll be all right, you know, wasn't overly worried. And it wasn't until I actually pulled up and seen Luke's dad and brother and a few of their friends outside and in a really bad way. So I thought, this isn't, there's something not right about this. And as I walked in, there was a nurse waiting for me. And I knew then, I thought, this is really bad. And they took me into one of the relatives' rooms and they said, "We're sorry, but Luke didn't make it." Well, I just sort of sat there in shock for a bit. And obviously as well, what was so difficult was it was like the early hours of the morning, and it's like, who do I phone? It was amazing, the people that turned up at his funeral. There was so, I've been to a few funerals in my time, but I've never been to one like that. It was rammed to capacity. All his friends was on bikes in front of the hearse with Taylor, the dog, walking as the lead. And they all started clapping as we all came up into the thing. And we've got family in Hucknall and everything that had all come over, and they was amazed. I can't believe the amount of people and how well liked he was.
Knife crime in London far exceeds the UK's other regions, and while the East Midlands is ranked 5th in crime statistics among the regions, it is of little comfort when last year in Nottinghamshire, violent knife crime increased by 1/3.
Well, people are concerned, and I'm concerned, and knife crime is going up nationally by 22%, over the same period here in Nottinghamshire by 11%. But I recognise it's an issue, and more particularly local people, local partners recognise it's an issue and want to work with us to sort it. And the more that we can get people who've used the knife or been a victim of knife crime speaking out, those testimonies will change things.
Marcus knows only too well the impact of knife crime. As a gang member at the age of 16, he was stabbed multiple times and left for dead. Nowadays, he spends his time persuading young people not to carry knives.
Chased by 3 males. Obviously, the first thing I thought is cut up the alleyway, get away. That's when I realised that one of them stabbed me. He stabbed me in my arm. I've then been stabbed by someone else in my shoulder, and I've also been stabbed in the ribs as well, and also took a baseball bat beating shortly after that. And then I was left at the top of the alleyway where the park is. That was the last bit. That's all I can remember. And then I woke up in the hospital. Really bad impact looking over my shoulder. Mentally and psychologically, it affects your life. It really does affect your life. You get paranoid. You feel like you're being watched. It's just so horrible. At the minute, I'm running a group on Facebook called Nottingham Put Down the Knife, Value Your Life, and I feel that if I can get more people to actually make note of that group, join the group, look at other people's views, opinions, then we can all help each other and make Nottingham a safer place.
All these drillers and chingins, TTP love doing up drilling. Big rap bats and spinners, dingers, brown skin girls that flirt.
The government's serious violence strategy is based on the belief that the media, including videos such as this one promoting gang violence, is fueling the growth of knife crime. The singer in this video, Sadiq Kamara, was a member of the South London group Moscow 17 and was known in the London gang culture by the name of Incognito. He was stabbed to death in a gang-related attack in August 2018. He was just 23 and the father of a 4-year-old daughter.
Music videos, you'll see that knives are often used in the storyline or the portrayal and the imagery of those things, and they will have an effect on people's choices about what to do and how to behave. Most young people, of course, today play video games and computer games, and often you'll see computer games using knives to slit people's throats, to stab them, to attack them. And so that in this particular instance, in the gameplay, you're rewarded for that behaviour, either by points or by artificial money. And of course, that reward system of using a knife on others and getting a reward for it will of course encourage those predisposed to violence even more than the passive viewing of film or television or music videos.
Following 3 violent knife-related incidents in just one weekend, members of a residents' action group in the Nottinghamshire borough of Gedling organised a march to highlight their growing concerns and to make it clear to their elected leaders that they want action.
Yeah, there's been 3 stabbings in the local area over one weekend. Lots of issues revolving teenagers in the streets, just crowds of teenagers hanging around the streets, etc. I don't think there's anything for them to do in Arnold. They've just got left on the streets, there's nowhere for them to go, they're bored, there's nothing to do.
You know, boxing, sport activities, theatre, we've got a great theatre in Arnold, swimming, sports activities, dancing, whatever it is that you want to do, we need to make sure that there are decent activities for the decent, law-abiding young people in our town.
Footwork and combos, slips, parries, hooks, jabs. I train, practice my time and control. Backs, mix, clinch, hits. Keep your hands up or you're gonna get back.
One local campaigner believes that if young people have things to do and can focus on activities, they are less likely to get involved in gangs and violence.
Help the young ones from now and get them in the gym from now, give them something to do. Hopefully they don't go down the road, what's going off on the roads and the streets now. You know what I mean? If we keep them active instead of them being bored and thinking, oh, I want to follow him because he's cool or he's got a knife and they think it's cool. We're trying to like get them in here before that happens, you know what I mean? It is very limited stuff for kids to do. There's not really much going on, you know what I mean? So, yeah, they need to keep them active, man. Number one, I'm teaching them discipline. Yeah, it's discipline and getting them active, doing something, keeping the mind on something, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, people look at boxing saying, oh, it's violent, it's that, but it's a sport, you know what I mean? It's self-control, you know what I mean? If you can use your hands, you don't have to carry a knife.
So if you carry a knife, you're more likely to be a victim of stabbing. And this statistic is very important to educate parents and young people themselves about how dangerous it is to carry a knife.
It's just the impact of what it causes on families is just unbelievable. And you just don't need a knife, you just full stop, you don't need one. And the only time you should have a knife is if you're in a kitchen and you're cooking. Other than that, you shouldn't be carrying it at all.
You shouldn't have to lose a son. You shouldn't have to go and have a funeral, you know, and lose a child. He was 25 years old, he was in the prime of his life. But I like to talk about Luke because I like to think and hope that it might help other people to start understanding what it's like to lose a son through knife crime. You know, I wouldn't wish it on anybody.